Guess what? Another day, another podcast. And guess what? Today is episode 333, my favorite, all about alignment. If you're woo-woo like me, you understand the significance of 111, 222, 333 every single time, especially lately that I've been doubting myself or, asking, should I do this or should I do that? I see the clock will be 111 or 1111, and I'll just see like random numbers. So I always know I'm on the right path, even if my mind and body is trying to convince me that it's not. So episode 333 feels very special and unique. So today's episode, hopefully will bring you joy. So today I want to talk about food. Food is one of those areas that for a really long time I felt unqualified to talk about, and I still do. I'm just a newbie in the learning about, the world of food. But as an amateur, I shouldn't be talking as an amateur. The moment you come into the world, we eat, right? But yet so many of us feel uneducated to talk about food. So I definitely do not help people with their food journey. I can help with the mindset and the emotional components of it and making sure that you're making shit happen in your life. But I just also wanted to share with you a little bit about my personal journey with food. So I've been speaking with a lot of friends lately because I'm like, 2019, I'm going to figure out my food shit. And I'm so done with diets, so done with the all or nothing attitude. And since in the past 5 years, really diving into my body. Who am I? What does my body need? And what I find so often is experts, right, telling me and us what we need to do. But realizing that expert is coming from their own belief system, their own education. And this is kind of the filter that we've learned to navigate our world through food. You see those government-run, what are they, like the food pyramid of you need to have this much on your plate. And you see those, like my kid's school serves chocolate milk and, are trying to brainwash everybody that this is good, this is healthy. I'm sorry, but pretending that chocolate milk is healthy, no wonder why we're all extremely fucked up when it comes to understanding food. So I've stripped a lot of that away, and I try to get quiet with myself and say, Heather, how do you want to feel? If you've been listening to me for a while, you understand that I put a big emphasis on how do you want to feel in your life. And I'm pretty sure it's not angry, depleted, unmotivated, and frustrated. You want to feel alive. You want to feel strong. You want to feel whole. You want to feel complete, content, free. But how do you get there? Food is just one tool. So this year I decided to take a whole different approach to food. And I read up on keto, paleo, the Whole30, veganism, vegetarian, all of this. And I've been studying a lot with other healthcare professionals and listening to their perspective. But the interesting part about this is I'm curious. I am not grabbing onto or trying to dive into one modality of choice. I listen to everybody and I say, what lights me up? What feels good to me? What works and what doesn't work? And the universe listened, and it just so happened that last week or the week before, I was on a girls' trip, and there was how many? 5 of us? No, there was 4 of us. And was there 4 of us? 1, 2, 3. No, there's 5 of us. And it just so happened. So was the only person there who wasn't a big foodie. And when I say foodie, what I mean is a lot of these friends have either written books on food. They own a restaurant that's, foodie, food place. Like all of these people have taught me about food, but did in different modalities. One's paleo, one's keto, one is, used to be vegan, vegetarian. And it was so interesting to watch them with their food choices, their beliefs, their stories around food, their journeys, hearing their journeys of how they started as one thing and then now have transitioned into another. And I wanted to share some aha moments with you because it was really important because as a, individual who's diving into their food journey, what we typically do is we seek out professionals and we grab onto their one mindset, right? We get that one cookbook and we're like, okay, all or nothing. I have to eat everything in here and I can't go outside the lines. And if I go outside the lines, I'm a failure. And I'm done with that. I'm done beating myself up because I chose to grab a few French fries off my kid's plate. I'm done beating myself up because I was craving a piece of cheese and I grabbed a piece of cheese. I just want to fucking love myself. And if I can't be kind to myself when I make a choice that is outside of the norm of what I'm supposed to be doing and it doesn't work for me, then therefore I'm just going to stop doing it. And I wouldn't say that, my whole life I yo-yo dieted because I didn't. For a very long time, I didn't eat. And it wasn't because I thought I had an eating disorder. It was because I was so confused and paralyzed in this food overwhelm and people spreading their dogmas and trying to be this all or nothing mentality that if you eat, an apple that isn't organic, you are going to die from pesticides. And the truth is there's a lot of fear in the food industry. Do I agree that, genetically modified organisms are changing our genetics? 100%. But what does that mean when I walk into a grocery store and I'm so overwhelmed that I just don't buy anything? That's not going to get us anywhere. Also, I grew up in poverty. Bologna sandwiches, that was the thing that I ate for lunch and dinner. So then I hear people talking about, well, it's what we ate, but that I didn't have choice back then. Now I do have choice. So do I make better choices? There's just so many debilitating questions that we can ask ourselves when it comes to food. So number one, this is what I learned. There's a lot of fear in food, just like I said. And I'm choosing to live my life in a place of abundance and not food. Therefore, even if for some reason, and even just thinking about this makes me want to get sick, but for some reason I'm about to put a McDonald's Big Mac in my mouth, if I believe in my mind that this is healthy for me and it makes me feel good, then I deserve to eat this. Who cares? We need to stop judging people on their food choices. Those are their choices. So if someone grabs an apple and it's not organic, stop fucking judging them. There's a lot of fear in food. And when your thoughts are based in fear, you're going to get sick. Why? Because what you think, you will manifest. I was saying to my friend one time, because when I went through chemo, people had, their judgments about that too. And I did too, because I was all, let's go green and, let's be eco-friendly and, chemo will kill you and all of that. That's a whole nother conversation. But I remember looking at it thinking, thank you, thank you, thank you, and giving it so much love. And I truly believe we need to start doing this more to our food. Thank you for nourishing me. Thank you for being available to me. Think about how many people in the world do not have access to food. Right? Other countries where children are literally starving to death. And here we are saying, oh, that apple isn't good enough. How else in your life are you manifesting from a place of fear? Whether it's in food or parenting or money or your career or your health. So start asking yourself, how can I change my fear-based thoughts into gratitude, into abundance? Second, trust the healthy stuff your body craves. So we all know that there's cravings, right? I crave chips all the time. I'm doing my best. I will not say in 2019, I will not eat chips, but my intention is to drink more water or eat something else before I eat the chips, and I haven't eaten any yet, so woohoo. But I want you to start trusting the healthy stuff that your body craves. I have a friend, and she had Crohn's, and which led her to a plant-based lifestyle. She was either vegetarian or vegan for years and years and years, and it truly helped her with her Crohn's. But what happens was she was coming from a place of fear because she was always afraid that if she ate something, it was going to give her Crohn's because she would shit blood and it was awful. And what happened was she eventually she got breast cancer. And in recovery during her breast cancer, she was still eating plant-based, and she went a little more restrictive because naturopaths and everyone was telling her, like, listen, you have to eat cleaner, you have to eat whatever. And she realized there was a lot of fear in her mind about disease and food. And she had this aha moment. I did everything that I possibly could to help my body heal from Crohn's by eating healthy and organic, and look, I still got sick. The only common denominator is my thoughts. And so she started craving meat, and she started eating meat, and there was a lot of backlash because the community knew her as this like vegetarian or vegan, and I say vegetarian or vegan because I don't remember which one she was, but they gave her a lot of shit for this, and she thought, I'm making a choice for my body, and it was so symbolic for what society does. When we make intuitive choices and own what we want and desire, people are like, that's not good enough. So again, this whole journey through food taught her more than just trusting herself. It was trusting herself, it was taking her power back, but it was also really tapping into how much fear was around food for her. And she introduced meat back into her life, and a lot of people didn't like it, and her body healed, and she feels amazing. So she really taught me to trust the healthy stuff that your body craves. Because if your body is craving something, it's saying, listen to me, listen to me. And it's a direct correlation with what I always say, like, what do you want? What do you crave? What do you desire? But never did I associate that with food before. It was always like, I want to go on an adventure, or I want, to buy myself a new outfit, or I want to be able to, play a board game with my children without being frustrated, or I want to be able to put my kids to bed and read them a book without saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. So seeing that what we crave in our lives, whether it's with our children, our families, our careers, our bank accounts, is directly in alignment with our relationship with food. Number 3. Do what you feel called to try and make it your own. What type of eating do you feel called to try? Do you want to go in a paleo route? Do you want to go in a keto route? Do you enjoy veganism? Do you enjoy vegetarian? Do you want to try a Whole30? Try it. But you don't need to be so restrictive. There's things with guidelines. And I'm a huge fan of sustainability, that because you try something, it doesn't need to be this all or nothing mentality. And then after your 8 weeks or your 30 days, you're like, oh, okay, good. Now I can binge on the bad stuff. And you end up right where you were before you started. The importance of independence, especially emotional independence from food and taking back control of your life, is sustainability. So be curious and educate yourself. Like, okay, cool. What are the rules in this quote unquote lifestyle change? What works for me? What am I really going to resist in this process? And lean in that direction. Maybe the first week you're just introducing, more veggies. Maybe you're introducing more water. Whatever it is, it's the sustainability approach that you're making a commitment for long-term change and not just a quick fix like, oh shit, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to be on a beach in 30 days. So now I need to lose all this weight because I'm so insecure in my body. That is not a mom in control. Eat what you want. Number 4, eat what you want everything your body, okay, I can't read my writing. Oh my God. Okay, eat what you want. Eventually, your body won't tolerate the shit once you start respecting and fueling it with the good stuff. So I don't know what I meant by this, but I can't read my writing. My point was, eat what you want, and eventually your body won't tolerate the shit anymore. And when I wrote this out and I was thinking about it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so brilliant. This is just self-respect, right? I talk a lot about this with my clients in parenting and relationships. When you create a boundary or you start, a routine and you're working out and you're eating healthy, all of a sudden you question yourself, like, how did I live the other way? How was I that person before? You start to create these healthy boundaries with yourself, and the self-respect starts to come in. And when you do that, and you say, oh, I want that piece of pizza, eat that piece of pizza, but your body is now collaborated with this nutrient-dense food, and it's saying to you, excuse me, Heather, that's shit. Therefore, I'm going to make you feel like shit. But when we're so used to eating crap and treating ourselves like crap, it builds and builds and builds and builds, and we don't know what any other way of being in the world. It's also a form of self-punishment. So the more you respect yourself and you see your body as this respectful temple in your home, right? Would you walk into your house or somebody else's house with like dog shit on the bottom of your shoes and just trample all over? Maybe your house, because apparently we have a really hard time respecting our own space. But would you do that to somebody else's house? If you would, then that's a whole nother conversation. But if the answer is no, why do we do that to our bodies? Why do we trample all over ourselves and then wonder why we don't feel good in a bathing suit, and then wonder why we don't feel good in our lives, and then wonder why we're so triggered when our kids say, Mom, you have this belly fat here. Who cares? But when you disrespect your body, you're triggered by everyone else disrespecting you. Number 5, not everyone will agree with your choices. I can't even read my writing. Not everyone will agree with your choices. Perfect. They also want labels. For some reason, human beings love labels. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of them. People are like, what are you again? What do you do? What do you eat? Do you do this? Do you subscribe to this? Are you this? Are you that? I don't know why, but people love to put people in boxes. Like, I need a tag for you. I need a title. Maybe that helps society function, but I'm just telling you, do what works for you. Do what feels good. If it doesn't, you're like, oh, this is so hard. Great, create a system that's in alignment, that creates more ease in your life. Choose the easier path. And when I say choose the easier path, I don't mean don't show up. I mean, if you're beating your head against the wall and then someone's like, why don't you just open the door? That's what I'm talking about with the easier path. Awesome. There's so much I'm unpacking here in the food world. And just for myself, I don't even know where this is going. But the beautiful part is, as the more I learn, the more I realize it's all connected. So people will come in, they'll, work in the mastery program with me, or they'll work with me one-on-one, and they'll say to me, I need help with parenting. That's where I want to start. But I'm also struggling in this relationship and over here and over here. And I'm like, well, let's get started. It's all connected. There is a way to create sustainability in your life, to create ease and flow, to feel that abundance, to get out of fear. And yes, fear will always be there. It will creep back in. So when it does, you can stop it dead in its tracks. But I'm telling you, Mama, you got to be committed to this process. You can't just say, well, I bought the book. You got to implement the strategies inside the book. And that is going to create your legacy.